Hey everyone, it's Charlie Morgan and welcome to another video for the YouTube channel. So I've got a really exciting one for you today. I've interviewed Ketu, one of our wonderful clients. Ketu started with us 5 months ago. When he started with us, he was basically a glorified freelancer. That's a term that I like to use to describe someone who has done a 997 agency course that's failed them. Right? They do everything in their agency. There's chaos. They hardly book any meetings. They hardly get any clients. Their service delivery is kind of screwed up. They've got no systems for onboarding, no team, no processes. It's just chaos, basically. And we've helped Ketu go from that point to the point now where he's almost even a multi-six-figure agency owner. Last month he made $15,000, and that's a trend that's sort of continued over the last couple of months. And he's basically gone from $2,000 a month to 15 grand a month in 5 months, which is insane, right? That sort of transformation is not easy to do. And we've done that for him, but obviously quite a few other people at this point as well. And today's video is just to explore his transformation, for him to sort of give you guys some advice on how he's done it and just some pointers and everything like that. And he's not done. This is the cool thing. He's probably going to be at 30K a month in the next 4 months, I'd expect. So when he hits that, we'll probably re-interview him and just sort of go back through that process. But yeah, the other thing I wanted to note about this video is that for some reason, Zoom didn't record me and him. So usually when you record on Zoom, obviously it flips between who's talking as to who's actually on the recording. But it didn't, it's just him basically. So he's probably gonna hate me for that. Sorry, Ketu. But yeah, he should be okay with it. But for some reason it didn't record me, it just recorded him. But yeah, that's everything from me. Awesome transformation from Ketu. He talks about what he's found useful about the program and other parts of the stuff that we've been working with him on. And I could not be happier for him. It fills me with so much joy and warmth to just help people do this. And if you're also curious as to how we could help you do this and go from a couple grand a month to 6 figures or multi-six figures. And the thing about this, right, and one caveat is that there's a lot of people out there that say they can do this. And there's a lot of people out there who say they can get you to 10K a month or 50K a month or 100K a month, but very few actually have tangible evidence that they can actually do it. Very few people have interviews with clients that actually explain the process and have testimonials and case studies. It's very easy to say, oh, I can get you to 10K a month, I can get you to 50K a month. But to see that there's actual human beings that have achieved this goal, I thought it might be helpful for you to see because it might give you some inspirations. So yeah, that's everything from me. Just a quick warning that it is only Ketu on the recording. I'm fine with that. He's a lovely boy, lovely man actually. I think he's 21. I think he's 21, late teens, early 20s, that's for sure. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoy it and I'll talk to you in the next video. Cheers. Right then, hey everybody, how's it going? It's Charlie Morgan and welcome to another video. Today, I've got a wonderful client of ours, Ketu, who joined us earlier this year. I don't know specifically, but it's been 5 months or something, right?
Yeah, about 5 months now.
5 months ago. Ketu's been working with us for 5 months, and in that time, he scaled his agency from 3K a month to 15K a month. Now, this is pretty awesome, and it's quite common and it's a typical result we help clients get. The main theme of transformation that we see here is helping people like you, Ketu, go from glorified freelancer to actual 6 or multi-six-figure agency owner. So we're going to sort of explore that transformation and how we helped you achieve it. But before I jump into everything, do you want to sort of explain a bit about who you are and your agency and just introduce yourself?
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm Ketu, after the lovely introduction from Charlie. So I started my agency in about 2020, and I think I followed the traditional route like everybody did. They follow somebody and then they pick up a course, like you call it a 997 course. You get started in that journey, you start scaling. But so I started that in 2020. It's just been a year now that I've had my agency. Mm-hmm. And I'd say that I really just ran into a rut. I saw some success, but I just ran into a rut because I think it was genuinely just more people are starting agencies, more competition, or whatever. But I just saw that it was significantly harder to book appointments and meetings. And in this game that we play, that if you're not booking appointments and meetings, you're going hungry. You know what I mean? You're not going to have a good situation. Yeah. So before joining the program, before Charlie reached out to me, I was probably getting a meeting a month. Yeah. If I'm my honest answer, that was probably a meeting or 2 meetings a month. But yeah, it was just a really bad situation. And at the time, I was actually looking for like a done for you service where I thought I had like a
I
good
remember that.
system.
Yeah.
I thought I had like a good system. I'm like, you know what? I just need to pump more volume into this system that I thought that I had.
Mm.
And when you reached out to me, I was like a bit disappointed when we hopped into the call for the first time because I was like, oh, this is not a done for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, like obviously it was one of the best things that ever happened, to be honest with you, because you did explain what you and Bo did.
Mm.
And I'll never forget that call. I was extremely nervous, man. I was
Yeah, it was. I remember it really explicitly. I do for most of the calls that we have, people sign up, which is kind of crazy. But I remember how much sort of just over the fence pushing it took.
yeah.
You were like, "Oh man, I'm so scared, I'm so nervous." I was like, "Look, man, we got you. Like, this is."
Yeah, because at the time that was my entire paycheck. I was like,
Yeah.
am I going to like fork over an entire paycheck and see if this is gonna work? And it did. And yeah, fast forward, I jumped in, and just because of like how serious I was and like that I really did invest my entire paycheck.
Yeah.
I went, jumped in immediately, and I didn't waste no time. I got access on like a Saturday even. Jumped in, like went over like the mass amount of content that was in there, and picked something that looked I wasn't very religious when it came to following it systematically and like in sequence, but I picked up something that seemed very cool because it was something called a Ghostbuster sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, if you're in the program, you'll know what that is, and the workflows. And I was like, that's pretty cool
just to
because
give some context, so we have this video in the program called Ghostbuster Workflows, and these are basically templates that we use to stop people from ghosting us. So like everyone's got this one prospect that they've had on their books that there's never booked a call with them, or who hasn't showed up, and so we have sequences to nurture those and get them on the call. But do you want to carry on with the, because I know where you're going with this.
It's an amazing workflow, yeah. And yeah, obviously the name was like the headline for me. I was like, oh, that's amazing because I have like so many people that are just like ghosted, whatever, that have left me.
Mm-hmm.
And we had conversations that just went to yeah, they just didn't really go anywhere. And then implemented that immediately, without even like creating my loom, checking my deliverability, everything. I just jumped in and I was like, let me start this. And then yeah, I think I signed my first client using those workflows a week into the program.
Jeez.
And then I was like, oh, this is awesome. And then when I actually went through the entire program, I just kept like I implemented religiously, worked hard, and then I was just signing left, right, and center. Like between my entire duration is 5 months now, I signed about 9, 10. Well, 9 because one client had 2 companies that they trusted us with. So I want to call that 10.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get paid from both companies separately, so it's 10. So yeah, I was just like repeating the process. I was like, oh, this works. Do it again. Do it again. I think I got too excited because I'm still at like client capacity right now, and I actually need to like potentially offload some to make room for more higher ticket ones.
This is what I wanted to explore, because I think you got about 2 or 3 months in and you hit your own personal capacity. Because this is, you were like, shit, what do I do? And we were like, you need a media buyer.
Yeah.
So I think you had one, but you didn't outsource it in full or something like that. And that was awesome. So you started with us beforehand. You were struggling. You were booking like a meeting or 2 a month, signing like a client every like 3 months or something. And how long had you been? So that was since 2020. So like 12 months you've been going through that.
It was about 12 months. 2020, I started my agency in February. I only landed my first client in September. And then I think, I joined on with you 5 months ago. I think that was August, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure.
No, and you just did like 15K a month, which is, that's insane to think, man. Started at 3, now you're doing...
I was at like 3 or 2 even. 3 is quite generous. I was like, I probably started at like 2. I actually couldn't afford the full course. So I had to like break it up into like, luckily they were very accommodating.
I remember it, man. So now that you've been through, knowing what you know now and looking back at the program, what do you feel is the thing that's had the most impact, or like the key 1 or 2 key lessons that you've learned working with us, and things that you think, fuck, I can actually attribute my success to? Not just that, obviously, it's a lot of it's to do with your hard work, but what are the main lessons you think you've learned?
So I genuinely think it was in terms of like obviously you guys, the course is full spectrum in terms of between service delivery, client acquisition, but for me, Loom Alchemy was the sole contributor towards my success. And obviously, for those who don't know what loom alchemy is that obviously we acquire clients through sending looms, but it's just the systems and the ways we do it. But Jesus, that was probably the sole contributor, because I didn't know what to do at some point. I had a meeting almost every day, and I was not used to that. I was like, yeah, because when I was joining, I was like, oh shit, I have this works. It has to work.
Yeah.
And then I did it for like a couple of months, and I was like, this system is working. I haven't changed my offer. I'm still sending out the same message, and now I've actually just scaled back.
And you don't have to send much volume to book a meeting a day, do you?
I actually didn't. I actually cheated. Like that's why I felt like I didn't deserve it, because you had a recommended amount of volume. I was just under that, because I was like, wow, that is a lot of volume. I'm going to try to do this, because obviously I'm on my own at that point. I only have VAs now, but at that point in time I was like, oh, this is a lot, because I had like a client or 2 or 3 clients at the time, so I didn't have enough time to do the recommended volume. So I'd say I probably did 70% of the recommended volume.
Gee, so you only do like 10 to 15 a day then, just like
10, 15 a day. But I was religious with my follow-ups, so to be fair. But my volume wasn't where it was supposed to be. But I scaled quickly from then. And then when I added more volume, when I added in VAs, that's when I saw like 3 clients a month at some point. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy, man. And so when at what point did you hire a VA? Because I think one of the misconceptions a lot of people have is like, when they look at a program, this is the philosophy that you had before you invested, is you were like, I haven't got the time to do this. But then it's like you're making a couple grand a month, but things are so chaotic and you don't know what to focus on. So when you joined us, at which point did you hire a VA? How quickly in did you do that to outsource the outreach?
About after my 3rd client sign, that's when I said, okay, cool. That's when I was sort of reaching capacity, and I ran into media buy issues and I had to change over. So I knew I had no time to do the outreach, and I knew that I was actually on a coaching call. I was like, guys, I'm thinking of like stopping the outreach so far, and you guys were like, no ways. Like, you gotta keep, the system's working. You gotta keep pushing it. And then I said, okay, cool. The only way to logically do this is to actually get a VA.
Yeah, I think that's a mistake a lot of people make. Is like, we help people find something that works, and then they sign, they get like 5 clients, and they're like, oh my God, I've like tripled my income in the last like 2 months. I'll stop doing outreach. It's like, no, like you don't stop the thing that feeds you, you outsource it, if that makes sense. So when you joined us, we were sort of discussing this before the meeting, talking about sort of like what sort of impact this has had. Because obviously, from a fancy YouTube title, like 2 to 15K a month in 5 months is pretty mad. But when you think about that money, obviously, when you look past the money, what's that done for you? What sort of impact has that had? Because you live in South Africa, so things must be good for you.
Yeah, obviously the conversion rate's amazing, but like as I was saying before the call, like it's not about the flashiness or the money. It's actually just more about what the money's allowed you to do. That was for me, for my family. That's why I started the agency. Is to take care of my family for good. So literally we had a conversation. We said, look, you're still in the same room that you were when you hopped in. And I was like, that's because, to be honest with you, like a lot of the profits just going towards taking care of my family. They don't really need to worry about bills anymore.
Oh, man,
that's just been a beautiful thing to witness. And you guys were a huge contributor towards that. So thanks.
Oh man, that's incredible. Like it feels so good, because obviously, like, we do this is the sort of sales stuff that we teach as well, and you'll be familiar with this. It's like you talk about how much money someone wants to make, but then actually understanding why they want to do that and connecting with that reason is so much more like valuable, at least from my perspective, and it means so much more. And so when you look at your agency and what's next, like what's on your sort of
what's next
plan? Yeah.
On my to-do list is to actually get rid of some clients. Like I told you, I keep pressing that go button, sign button, but now it's about getting the higher ticket ones. So now I'm going to I plan to charge more for the services, because a lot goes into it, and I think that was a huge fear or something that's holding me back, because I didn't believe that I could charge more, and now I've kind of broken past that and actually believe that I can charge more. So that's the goal now, is just to find clients, higher ticket clients, charge more, provide more value, and then with the lower ticket clients, kind of phase them off in the, like, obviously not in a malicious way. It's just to we've got a goal to reach, and the way to get there is with not necessarily more smaller ticket clients, but maybe fewer high ticket clients is what I've thought. So yeah, we're sending out looms again, and people booking in meetings, trying to find good fits. And yeah, for me now, I've actually, like, for once, like before, like I used to say, I just sign because it worked. Now I'm like, if it's actually not a good fit, now I can actually have the authority and the power and the confidence to say, no, this is actually not going to work.
Yeah, that's an incredible position to be in on a sales call, is to operate out of abundance and not scarcity. And then you're on, and it removes all the pressure from the call as well.
Absolutely. I go in there chilled.
I'm like, closes or not. You're just like,
I'm like, genuinely.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'm like, genuinely, whether this goes right or goes wrong, I'm happy. I'm okay. And I'm not very outcome dependent, but it's more about like really important, the importance of finding a good fit, because I have signed those bad fits where you actually, you witness and experience that it's actually not good for you. But obviously I tend to learn things the harder way. And that sticks to me. It always sticks to me, because you say this before. You pretty much warn us beforehand. But I don't know. That's just the type of learner I am. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe past experiences
I think
are actually the best teachers.
It's an important lesson. I mean, building an agency is just basically pain. Like for those first like 2 years, it really doesn't come into anything other than that. And so, okay, so you're at 15K. What's the next goal, if you don't mind sharing, financially? You want to double that, 30K a month?
25K is the next one, because then that's what $250,000 is here in South Africa. So if I can do that, that's like, if you convert it over, if I'm doing like 25K, that's about $250,000 in South Africa. So that's like real border shit. You know what I mean?
My God, that's going to be insane. Do you think you can do that with the program?
Absolutely, without a doubt. There's some people in the program absolutely crushing it as well. Like genuinely, there's guys bigger than I am that are doing absolutely bits. And obviously the goal is just to obviously just catch up, and it's more about like just being in the upper echelon. Now it's no longer about like necessity, but now it's about like just honing in my craft. A good goal of mine as well now is just to enjoy it a lot more. I think it's not really about the money. Obviously, in the beginning, it's just about the money. But then for me, it's actually building a system, building a company, and building something that can sustain me for the future, and really enjoying the process. That's what I'm working on right now. Is just falling in love with the process.
I think that's like it's one of the biggest sort of transformations you make psychologically, is going from survival mode. Like, and then you get to the point where you don't need to survive, but you can actually thrive. And you recognize, okay, I've got my salary, I'm sorted financially, I'm stable, I'm settled, and I know I've got the skills and the systems to keep this where it is. Now I've got room to actually go and build things. And that's the coolest thing, is going from like, I don't know what you call it, like desperate survivor to builder. Like it's
it's like from desperation to inspiration. Is the next thing, and I think that's just kind of what I'm working on now. It's just like I'm falling in love with the process. I wake up and I love what I do. Obviously it gets hard, like business always, like you said, is pain, but it's just about enjoying the pain now.
So we'll wrap this up in 1 second, but aside from the program and the video content specifically, when you've been working with us, what else has been helpful for you?
Obviously the coaching course is a huge one. It obviously, consuming content is one thing, but obviously especially when it came to like tracking metrics and understanding metrics, because that's what you guys teach us when it comes to outreach. But for you to actually go on the coaching call, we whip out our Excel sheets and you break it down for us, and say, look, this is what needs to be done to improve things. That's invaluable. Like genuinely,
we say that in the program is when we introduce the metric tracking system, and we're like, if you have a problem with Loom or cold calling or cold messaging, the first thing we will ask to see if your metrics. If you haven't got your metrics, then that's the problem.
That's the first problem, is that
it's always the case. Because you've been quite religious with those calls as well. We've seen you on there like every other week, maybe once or twice a week.
Yeah, it only got like I said, as soon as I started scaling like to too many clients, that's when like the attendance was low, because sometimes clients would schedule check-ins,
It's
for
mad, though.
coaching calls. And obviously I'm like, oh, client comes first, but I really want to join this coaching call.
Yeah, well, it's important. But we gave you the opposite problem you had, is you didn't have enough clients. Now you've got too many.
Exactly. There's like the beautiful thing now is that, look, it's just moving on to a different problem now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly.
But like, look, obviously it's just amazing that the client acquisition is sorted. That like genuinely I'd say that if anybody is struggling with client acquisition or doesn't know how to sign clients, this is the best program to do so.
Oh, stop it, you appreciate it, man.
People
think I've like paid you to say this or something.
Cheap labor from South Africa.
Well, we'll close on this point, Ketu. So obviously when you joined us, you were quite scared, you were nervous, you were really sort of, and it feels like I'm talking to a completely different man, completely different Ketu. Like, it's weird, like the transformation you've had, not only financially but personally. But to anyone who's anxious to invest in themselves, not only with us but with any other potential company, what would you say to them?
I'd say just do it. Absolutely. Like I remember when we were on the phone call, I think I when I hopped in, I was like, I was probably this guy's worst sales call or most difficult sales call in the world, because I think we spent 30 minutes mulling this over. And I think you even pulled the can we go grab a quick cup of coffee line that I use now.
Yeah, you're like, I want to think about it. I was like, all right, I'll be back in a second.
That was absolutely amazing. I was like, the audacity, but I love it.
Yeah.
And then but yeah, I was super nervous, but then I knew that, look, in my head, in that transition period, I said, look, if you really want to take it to the next level, how badly do you want it? It's either you need to move to the next level, and I think you said these words to me, get out of your comfort zone. And I think that was when I was like, you know what, that's true. I need to get out of my comfort zone. I want things to stay the same. And the money being used, it's not like it's a waste. It's for an investment. Like genuinely, obviously I've made that money back now.
Bloody hell, man. You've had a fair return on investment there.
Yeah, it's like one of the best things ever. And I'm so happy. And anybody who's nervous or anxious to join the program, I can assure you that it's legit. It's the real deal. And probably one of the best client acquisition programs, especially in the game right now. If you want to change your situation, this is the program to join.
Awesome, man. I'm grateful.
Listen, man,
thank you for your time. I'm looking forward to helping you get even beyond this. So, the cool thing is, it's like once you get to like 6 figures, you're like you're kind of like pissed, because you're like, okay, this is cool for like a month, and then it's like, what's next? And 20, 30, 40, 50K a month is all within reach for you, especially with high ticket clients. And I think we can get you there quite quickly and quite easily.
Absolutely. I have no doubt. Like, it's been 5 months. I've already like tripled 5 times.
Yeah. 5x.
Absolutely amazing. I can't wait until like a year in, 2 years in.
We'll have to make like a yearly interview. It's like Ketu went from 15K to like 50K a month.
I think we have to do this again in a year. That's the goal. Man. I want to be your best YouTube headline ever.
Just like constantly, like month after month, like how Ketu had an extra 20K this month to his agency. But yeah, man, we've got quite a few interviews lined up with different people, and like I know you're in ecom, but we've got other ecom guys coming on the channel, and it's weird because like we started Imperium back in like January, right? So we've been going for 11 months, and it does take like 4 or 5 or 6 months sometimes for people to have these big leaps like you have, for example. And so when we were in like we were sort of in like May this year, June, which is when we signed you. And obviously we were like, oh, we haven't gotten like incredible case studies yet, but I didn't realize that this sort of stuff takes time. Exactly. And now it's all coming to fruition. So yeah, man, well, listen, greatly appreciate your time. For anyone watching, if you want similar results to Ketu, if you feel like you are like a glorified freelancer, you're spinning your wheels, you've taken a questionable 997 course that you kind of loathe, and you're struggling to get meetings, then we could give you like a ladder to help you get out of that hole that you're in.
Very long ladder too.
Yeah, it's a big old long ladder, depending on how deep you're in. But yeah, there'll be a link in the description below to book a call with us if you're open to that. Obviously, we're heading into the Christmas period, so there might not be much availability. I mean, my calendar's fully booked for this week as well. So like, if you're watching this immediately, then be patient with it because more slots will open up next week. But Ketu, man, it's been an absolute pleasure. Greatly appreciate your time. And I'm really happy for you, man. Congratulations.
Thanks so much. Thanks to you as well.
Awesome, brother.